Hello and welcome to Opposites React. I'm Ashley, that's Whitney. Here we are at the conclusion of the tales, and hopefully my sister will make it through this. She hates you all. So, without further ado, let us continue on. Before he starts singing and we get into the storytelling of this, I need to mention that throughout all of this, there has been incredible musicianship and incredible guitar playing. And
Yes. Because
because of the
heavy subject matter of his lyrics.
and insane storytelling, that has not been mentioned whatsoever. So I just, after that, needed to say that because
That was amazing.
I feel that by the end of this video, we're probably going to be talking about the subject matter and totally probably forget to mention that just happened.
While I have strong feelings of dislike for this artist at the moment, his talent, his talent cannot be. I mean, the reason why I'm so angry is because he is so talented. He is eliciting such strong emotions, and because I'm connecting so much with the story, I mean, it only speaks to his talent, but again, I hate his guts.
To be fair, I'm not sure they knew you had a 14-year-old boy.
Who is currently going through the myriad of emotions 14-year-old boys go through. Thankfully, he is not at all.
He's not at all in the same position as Screech, but she has a 14-year-old boy who looks very similar to Ren, and so I'm not sure you people could have known what level of messed up you were going to make my sister. So I'm sure you're very sorry to her. Let's end this. And this isn't even about Screech anymore.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstained sheets, our lady weeps, she's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale. Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took a tie but never left the room. I'll spare you with the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick. Violet was a silent girl and Violet, she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tight, but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, why are you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddywhack, one to the jaw and the tooth spat, detached fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I want to do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet. London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins are lying side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
It was horrible.
He was one hell of a storyteller.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
I have to wonder, like, what was going through his mind?
What was the inspiration
like
for
when
that?
he wrote all of that? Like, I just have to wonder, like, when he wrote all of that, was he like, how can I write the most awful story ever?
It's so impactful and he draws so much emotion, I think, from this. Not only because, yes, it's sad,
Mm-hmm.
right? At least for me, though, it's you're telling a story of basically children.
Uh-huh. Every single one of them. We're children.
And I didn't know that Jenny was a child.
Yeah.
There was also 14 now that you find out, oh, well, they're twins and he just killed his sister.
She was a child. Violet was a child when all of this happened.
Yeah, and that you're talking about children.
Basically, it all started.
And anybody who tells me that a 17-year-old or a 14, they know it. Yes, they absolutely know. To an extent.
But they're still kids.
They're still kids. They're kids and they make dumb mistakes and what's sad is that they're subject to their circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like and as they're still developing, they're so subject to their circumstances where it's like they're still working through being another cog in the cycle or rising up. They're still working through that.
Mm-hmm. They're still trying to figure it out and not make life-altering mistakes in the process.
And I think because even in my kids' circumstances, I can see in this volatile time of hormones and all that stuff, by chance, a mistake, a life-altering mistake,
mm-hmm.
that could completely change the trajectory of his life, our lives, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that there are kids that are subject to such awfulness.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is our kids are like not subject to really anything.
Like these, like
no,
life circumstances.
They have basically like full advantage.
Yeah.
Of like no negative circumstances to battle. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they have parents who love them.
Yeah.
They are not struggling to figure out food.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
their hierarchy of needs is completely met, and they're completely safe.
Yes. And so they have the privilege of getting to just try and figure out who they are as people and go through school and life.
But
that is not the regular thing.
And that
is so sad.
Is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Is wrong. And it's just and that's what's so defeating for me is that Jenny and Screech are subject of their circumstances.
Violet was the subject of her circumstances.
Was the subject of her circumstances. Even like leaving an abused home and then getting with an abusive boyfriend. Like
mm-hmm.
It's just awful. It's awful.
And that's the thing is sometimes it's just like, yep, Violet was trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what's so horrible. That's what's so
you can try and you can try and you can try and still it's not gonna work sometimes.
And I think that's where it's just that's why it's so maddening. And it makes me feel like I am superficial because I like happy endings.
Yep. And sometimes those just don't happen.
And they don't happen.
The thing is
in real life.
And they don't happen in real life.
And that is so terrible. And I hate it. And Ren, I'm going to hate you for a while.
The thing about it, and there was a while where I kind of felt like you did, where I could not, I couldn't entertain a subject matter like this because I couldn't separate, and I couldn't process the fact that like, how can I be a good person if I don't care 100% of the time, or I don't address 100% of the time the injustices that go on in the world, right?
There's too many injustices.
Exactly. And I'm just one person. And to me, it does no good. It does absolutely no good for me to, again, self-flagellate and be miserable. I'm not helping anyone by being miserable on their behalf.
Right.
Quite frankly, that's, to lack of a better term, it's bullshit. If anyone who is suffering saw me being miserable on their behalf, they'd be like, bitch, you and your happy life, get yourself together. Because guess what? I have gone through hard times. I have experienced some hard things. And guess what? A lot of them were due to my own silly choices as an adolescent. Right? I have been a person who has made poor choices as an adolescent and suffered very serious consequences because of them. And I am fully capable of taking ownership of those. But seeing anybody sit there and, self-flagellate over it, I'd be like, why are you doing that? Like, for what purpose does it serve?
It doesn't help anybody.
It does. I would look at somebody and say, well, you're not helping me. What? Remember when I had a hard time conceiving and when you got pregnant, were like, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, why are you upset? Like, I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Well, like, I was trying to be sensitive to your
Yes,
feelings.
I get it. But at the same time, it doesn't help anybody who's going through a hard time to be that, for them.
Well, no,
and I'm just trying to use an example. I know it's not apples to apples. You know what I mean? But when someone's going through a hard time, you having joy doesn't it's not okay to have joy just because somebody else is experiencing difficulty.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
And it's almost kind of a slap in the face because it's like, enjoy. You need to enjoy and embrace the joy, the privilege, the wonderfulness of your life. You know what I mean? And so
don't be miserable.
Don't diminish the wonderful blessings in your life simply because my life or someone else's life has extreme difficulty and extreme trial. And so I think that is what has helped me be able to consume this type of content, right? Because when I see stuff like this, I do like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And there are things like this in the world. But at the same time, it helps me to say, okay, well, I'm not going to just diminish somebody else's struggle I can acknowledge their struggle. I can consume this type of content because I'm going to see them. You know what I mean? It allows me to see them, to acknowledge them, to validate that, yes, there are people struggling this. There are people that are victims of their circumstance. There are people that are truly struggling and through no fault of their own. But I'm not going to diminish their struggle by either not seeing them and not acknowledging them, but also not valuing the life that I have and the blessings that I am able to enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the approach that I take that allows me to engage with heavy subject matter. And maybe it's because I have gone through some serious stuff. I guess, and come out the other side.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe and you've gone through different struggles of your own. You know what I mean?
Say,
your entire childhood. There is not one thing that you have that you didn't have to bust your ass to earn.
But and that's where it's like, yes, I've gone through very difficult things.
They're just not
a lot of difficult things. They're just, and I think that's where I am.
And they were through no fault of your own.
No, there was no fault of my own. But that's, I think, where it's like, okay, here's a problem. Let me fix it. Let me work at it, and it gets better.
Because
That was the
solutions to your
solution.
problems as a child.
Yes.
You had a lot of, yours were more like health oriented, where it was like, okay, here's a health problem, and now if I do these things, I can fix it.
Mm-hmm. And yes, because I didn't have
Circumstantial problems.
Societal
problems.
Yeah, I didn't have family problems or but it was different problems, and I think that's where it's just like I'm a mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
and
I'll love you.
You naturally, I mean, everybody. I feel like most mothers naturally have a motherly empathy,
right? Where it's just like, oh my gosh, just let me raise you, like,
yep.
And it just pulls at my mom's strings, because I want every kid, I want everybody to just have a safe home, a safe place. I want everybody to have a family to call when they make a dumb adolescent mistake, to say, Mom, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that a person will come.
Don't call Patrick, call your mom.
And what says is, like, sometimes that your mom is not it.
Yep, and that's really sad. And that's hard.
Or your dad, or your guardian, whoever your person
that's hard
is. And I think that is.
And I think what's really,
because families look so different.
And the curse of adolescence too is, even if your parents are that person, which most parents are,
yeah.
Even if they're not the best parents,
or their guardian, or their grandparents, or whatever,
whoever's taking care of the kid, you know what I mean? The adolescent, even no matter who's taking care of them, even if they're not a number one gold star parent, which hardly any of us are. Most of us are just fumbling through and doing our best to give our kids the least high therapy bills later on in life.
But even the adolescent...
The adolescent won't believe that they're the person that they can call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter how much we say, I don't care what you do, you can call me. You could say that till you're blue in the face. 9 times out of 10, the adolescent is not going to believe that you're that person.
Right? Yeah.
It's part of the not fully formed frontal lobe.
Right.
You can sit there and be like, you can make it their home screen on the fully locked down phone that they can't access anything but texting and calling you. Don't call anybody else. Call me if you do something wrong, and they'll still go, they won't trust me.
And I think that's part of consuming content like this, where it is the pressure of getting them to adulthood, or like even a little well into adulthood, where it's like,
just because they turn 18 doesn't mean you're out of the woods,
right? Without making a life altering.
And the funny thing is that, Whitney, listen,
a mistake.
I made many life-altering mistakes,
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And you get past it.
My mistakes helped form me, and I learned many lessons. They were not many. A lot of my mistakes could have put me in jail.
Yeah,
a lot of my mistakes were life-altering.
And I think that's where it's like. And that's where I truly believe you. There's nothing that you are beyond.
Everybody
redemption.
can. That's the thing, and I gave my parents a lot of wrinkles and a lot of worries, and sometimes you just have to sit back and say, I did my best. This kid obviously has to go and learn
the hard way.
I hope that their mistake will not kill them.
Yes. I hope that they learn.
And that's it.
Oh, it's just hard. Okay, well, guys.
We could go on forever, because obviously this is one of those conversations where it's like we could agonize over parenting and motherly worry until we're dead. So,
Ren, I'm not exactly sure you came up with this.
I would love if there's
story,
something that if there's a video where he explains like his logic and thought process behind this, please let us know in the comments so that we can figure out, like, oh, did he just want to torture mothers?
I mean, he
was he like, you want to know what? I'm mad at my mom. I'm mad at my mom today, and I am going to take it out on all the mothers by writing The most torturous,
heart-wrenching
the most
tale.
torturous piece of art.
You
know what? This is probably torturous to dads too. Actually,
parents in general.
I'm just mad at my parents. This was a piece by a young, angsty Ren that wanted to torture parents everywhere. That's what this was.
But
your whole face is covered in dry skin now.
Yeah, sorry, because I've been clawing at it.
Yes.
His storytelling was
ridiculous.
amazing.
His artistry is ridiculous.
His, I mean, the guitar was incredible. His performance, I mean, he drew such emotion just because he is so talented. But again, I hate everybody.
So anyway, listen,
you can like and subscribe if you want.
Whitney has given all of this to you. The least you could do is like the video. All right, well, listen, thank you all.
We'll be back to happy content later.
Yes.